everyone, and welcome to Community Voice. This week we have with us Brad Labadie, and he is with the Center Workforce for the Center. And I think I just said all that wrong, but he'll correct me. And anyways, Brad is here to speak to us this week in regards to what is happening in around the labor workforce. So Brad, take it away.
Thank you. Yes, it's the Center for Workforce Development, but many of the people probably still think of us as ECOTV, our old name, even though we've been rebranded since 2018. Thank you for this opportunity. Today, I just want to briefly touch on actually 3 topics. I'll touch on the Employer One survey that we are currently running and bring you up to date on that. And I want to touch on 2 industries that we hope to do a little research on, which would probably be near and dear to the part, is agriculture and forestry. So there are 2 industries that get overlooked quite a bit because they are smaller in nature, but we've been hearing that they are both experiencing labor force hiring issues and retention issues, as well as some data says they're going to grow, and I have reports that say they are. So
cool.
We need to get to the bottom of this and understand what's going on.
Cool.
So I'm going to bring up a little PowerPoint here. Should be able to. All right, can you see that on screen okay, Sherry? Are you there?
I'm here, Brad.
All righty, good. All right, so today, as I said, we'll talk a little bit about Employer One, Agriculture and Forestry. So the 2021 Employer One is a little bit different. We've been doing this for, this will be the 6th year, but this year it is a collaborative survey across Eastern Ontario. There's an old saying, and Jim Harrison, Mayor of Quinte West, is famous for using this proverb: if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. And really, we can't go very far with going together with everybody in the community. And Employer One is definitely a survey where we need to work together, and we need your input. So it's an annual survey of local employers taking place in Western Ontario since 2013, and first introduced in this area in 2016. It's online, it's confidential, it's anonymous. We guarantee that. There is some requirement to put in some information, contact info, but that is for our purposes if we have to reach back to you to clarify something in the survey. The results are all done as an aggregate. So this year, it's the first year that we're conducting this survey in Eastern Ontario in a collaborative manner. So there's 6 workforce development boards across Eastern Ontario, and we're all doing the exact same survey with the exact same questions, so that we can do a roll-up in a very statistical manner that is what we call statistics sound. Length of the survey depends on the number of employees. You know, take 10 to 15 minutes to complete it. You have an ability to stop at any time. And it runs from January 4th, and it runs till the end of this month. So we're running it for 2 months. This survey can be completed by anybody, and I say that as long as you own a business. So whether you are a sole proprietor or an incorporation, whether you're the only employee, whether you have 100 employees or more, it doesn't matter. We want to hear from you. Just even small businesses. Yes?
Brad, if I can just ask a quick question here. In regards to a business owner, like myself, I have subcontractors. Can that be included in the survey?
It depends. We want to understand your labor force. So you could be completed and might identify some of that. I have to look at some of the questions, but this is my point of individual businesses where, especially sole proprietorships, where maybe you're the only employee technically, you can still complete that so we understand, because a lot of small business are looking to grow, right?
Right. Great.
So I believe there is some portion in there for contracted positions. So in my Richmond area, there's a little over 5,000, almost 5,600 businesses with employees that encompass a variety of industries. So that's across Hastings, Prince Edward, and Lennox and Addington. There's a further 10,000 businesses without employees. So those could be family-run businesses. They could be corporations that have technically they have no employees, but maybe it's all family members working. Or in the case of somebody like you, Sherry, you're a contractor. You're contracting out business. So we ask things like the current composition of your workforce, your future workforce plans, recruitment, retention issues, skills and training needs. You know, if you've hired or you've had separations, and what do you find hard to fill? And that's just an example of some of the questions.
Right.
If you look at our website, you'll see the employer ones from last year. Would I further identify some of the things you do ask? So why, as an employer, would you want to do this? A lot of people don't realize they don't take the time to really understand HR of their business per se. So it really gives you an overview, HR snapshot of your business. There's a chance to provide input about workforce and training needs for yourself and for your community. It can be used to track internal trends in your own workforce. It can be used as a succession planning tool, which a lot of businesses sort of lack on doing. They should be doing succession planning. And you can compare your business with other employers in your area and industry when you look at the report when it comes out.
Interesting.
So for the community, it provides a current local snapshot of employers' human resource activities. It identifies the training and skills gaps in the local area. It allows for efficient allocation of workforce development resources. So when we're looking at training and skills gaps, those are key for organizations in like Employment Ontario service providers such as Career Edge or Meta or Loyalist CES. They look at that when they're dealing with their clients that are looking for work, or even employers that they do deal with on the job development side. But it helps them identify, well, there's opportunity here, so let's look at, especially with job seekers, let's look at getting training in this specific area, because look at the opportunity that exists here. When we look at the efficient allocation of workforce development resources, this really is a tie to the government resources there. So the government uses the Employer One survey to look at planning their resources in terms of programming. A really good example of this are a couple of funds that exist out there. The Ontario Labour Market Partnership Program, which is a funding opportunity really to do a lot of research. And then there's the Skills Advance Ontario Fund, which is the other side of that. You can incorporate and develop training for people. So an example being Elevate Plus out of Queen Economic Development Commission, and the training is done through the Loyalist Knowledge and Training Center. It's a program that looked at manufacturing. The research was done on manufacturing and their needs. This Elevate Plus is an SAO project. It takes people from the community who have little or no work experience at all, very little essential skills, those soft skills experience at all, and it puts them through a fairly intensive program for 6, and they come out with a job offer in manufacturing, and that's slowly expanding to other industries as well. A very successful program based on research, things included like the Employer One does. So where they're seeing, probably better than 95% success rate in terms of graduation, then probably 70 to 75% retention in the industry, which is really hard to obtain that. Programs like Elevate Plus, it's a good allocation of resource development, right? So that the government uses this type of data for.
Cool. So Brad,
Any questions so far?
Yeah, where could the business people go and look for the Skills Advance funding opportunity? Where would they go and look for that if they want to apply?
Well, the one thing I would recommend is whether it's a labor market partnership program going on or an SAO fund, is connect with me. That's one of our roles in the community. Is
Okay.
We meet on a regular basis every 2 weeks as local boards across Eastern Ontario. Part of that is the ministry sitting at that, and one of the things that they do for us is they let us know every program going on across Eastern Ontario. And so whether it's a training program in Prince Edward County or whether it's something that would be taking place in Madoc. If there's a lack and we see a gap, this is where the opportunity exists for you as a community to say, look at it, we have a need here. How do we get this funding going, type of thing. So SAO funding can be applied for through any organization. It doesn't have to be a business like us.
Okay, perfect.
So our community partners include economic development across just about every area we cover. So Quinte Economic Development, Quinte West, Hastings, Prince Edward, Belleville, Lennox, Addington, Northumberland, even Trenville, and the Small Business Center. Northumberland is technically not a part of our board area, but they often reach to us because we're right next door to Quinte West. And the traffic flow, if you will, of labor force is between Brighton and Quinte West. We partner with every chamber. We are a member of 6 chambers of commerce. So as you're seeing here today, we're presenting for the Madoc members, and I'm always happy to come up and when we get that opportunity to once again be in person to come and meet and share things to do. But for now, I guess it is Zoom or Teams meetings. So
yes, it is.
And then we also partner with all the community service agencies. So, all these individuals that we partner with, they help us push out this Employer One survey. So I would encourage your membership. The more voices you have, the more relevant the data is in it. This year, our target was 225 responses across our catchment area, and we're almost there. I think as of Monday, we were at 200 completed surveys. You can also participate as a partner. So the Madoc Chamber is a partner. We do, because you do push this out for us as a partner. You share the survey with businesses. Don't forget, as a Madoc Chamber, you are a business yourself, that you should be completing this. When you're a partner, you also have access to this data. At the end of the day, we provide either analysis outside of the wrap-up report we do if you ask for it. We can provide you with raw data minus what we call identifiers. So you don't know which business responded, but you can look at the data yourself and do your own analysis if you wish.
Cool.
Oh, and this year we added something a little bit different. Did I mention there's prizes? So every week we take all the businesses that have completed that week, and on the following Monday we draw from them a $100 gift card, and we're encouraging shop local gift cards. So we've given away some home hardware cards. We've got winner from last week. Right now we're working with them to get a gift card for Toadstone, I think it is. It's an art place. So we're pretty flexible about getting the gift card so that someone can shop local. And then at the end of the survey, after the 26th of February, we're going to put everybody's name back in the hat, and we will be doing a $250 gift card draw.
Cool.
before I go on, so the best way is to go to our website, cfwd.ca. Right at the top, there's a there where you can click on, it says view details, and there's a little blurb right at the top that mentions the survey. Click on the view details, takes you right to the survey information page where you can click right into the survey.
Perfect.
So let's talk a little bit about agriculture. So traditionally the four key industries that we've been looking at for the last couple of years are manufacturing, construction, healthcare, and accommodation, food services, or hospitality tourism, whichever way you want to call it. They rise to the top as when we do business counts and employee counts. They rise to the top as businesses that are really important, or they're growing. When you look at the economic impact they have on the community. So agriculture and forestry are two industries that have always sort of slid off the radar, if you will. Agriculture does sit rated about tied for 6th or 7th spot in terms of the number of businesses across Hastings, Prince Edward, and Lennox-Addington. But we've only been focusing on the top 5 industries, traditionally 5 to 6. However, a number of times that I've spoken with your members, spoken with members of Harvest Hastings, and I hear on a regular basis that there's this whole issue around, finding workers, I should say, retaining people in the industry. If you talk to OMAFRA, they're saying, as you can see here, some of the data numbers I have here, if I look at the second point there, we did some economic modeling recently, and it suggested that we would lose 42 jobs across Hastings, Prince Edward, and Lennox-Addington in agriculture by 2028. Yet, if I talk to the farmers where I'm living, or as I recently did to some of the Harvest Hastings people, we seem to get the impression that that's not what's really happening out there. With 1,118 businesses that are related to farming, whether they are actual farms or support businesses for farms, which are important. They're both within the agriculture industry, because you could have a farm, but if you don't have all the support industry there to help them, whether it's providing seed, whether it's that aftermarket, whether it's an abattoir for one of our meat producing farms, if they're not there, then we wouldn't have an agriculture industry. And it is economically, it has a significant impact, whether the people realize it. When we look at what we call input-output scenarios here, there's almost a $221 million impact economically here in just Hastings, Prince Edward, and Lennox-Addington. That's a significant financial impact or economic impact. So
wow.
Really what I want to look at over the next little while, and I'm hoping to do just a preliminary consultation before the end of the month, is it's just a quick little Zoom meeting. I want to get a sense of, does the local agriculture industry have a labor market issue? And what are those issues? There's been talk in the past about farm labor pools, sharing farm labor, because the seasonality to farm labor. Someone could need someone for the first 3 months, say March, April, May, and then by June they don't necessarily need them, but perhaps there's another establishment that requires assistance at that time. I think back to, I'm going to age myself here a little bit, but when I was younger, I'm from Chatham, and it's a farming community, Chatham, Ontario. And when I was younger, in my early teens, I was part of a farm labor pool. We would go pick strawberries for the strawberry season, and then you're off to corn to tassel for that. And then next thing you know, maybe you're out at one of the orchards helping maintain an orchard. And I think we've lost sight of that ability for us to do farm labor pools. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I want to understand, do we have an issue here, and how do we address it? What do they see as the support they need for the future of their industry? what strategies do they have in place now, or what strategies do we need to put in place? And for me, there's a key piece to is succession planning. That's not a big part of labor market research, but I think what I've in my conversations with farmers when I'm out there, and I ask them, so get a little bit of information about their farm, and then ask them, so who's going to take it over for you when you're ready to retire? And the answer is always, well, I don't know. Maybe my son, or maybe my nephew, or maybe someone from my family. They don't do a lot of good succession planning, and that can be an issue for a lot of reasons. So I'd really like to address some of that as well. And I'll touch very lastly on forestry. Yes, we don't have a huge number of forest industries or businesses. We have about 123 forestry-related businesses, logging probably being the majority of those businesses. Again, economic modeling suggests forestry will lose 12 jobs in this area by 2028, yet a recent conversation I had with a major forest association suggests the absolute opposite of that. In fact, their data is suggesting some significant labor force growth in Eastern Ontario. And that sort of goes hand in hand with some of the anecdotal conversations I've had with your member, Sherry. When I first came here, I'd heard that the forest industry, Medoc, Bancroft, Tweed area, it's a dead and dying industry. And then I had my eyes opened at a meeting there where someone started to explain exactly how big the industry is up there and the demand. And I'm an old forestry tech, actually, so I'm a graduate from Sir Sanford, so it became near and dear to my heart when I heard that it's not dying, it's actually growing, and they have issues finding workers. So that's sort of interesting, and that's the kind of data that's really important here. So, just locally, and I would say it's more that Madoc, Tweed, Bancroft area, there's its economic impact just in that area is around $13 million. And that's not a drop in the bucket. It's significant. And if it's going to grow, it's going to have more impact. And that's only sort of considering some key related businesses to forestry. So again, hopefully a quick consultation with people from your area about the forest industry to determine, do they have a labor market issue? What is it? Again, do they, what do they see as the future of their industry? Do they have any strategies in place to address this? And if not, what do we need to do to start developing strategy? And what would succession planning look like for them? And I talk about some of these strategies because in the development strategies, because across Hastings, Prince Edward, and Lennox, actually, a few years ago, we recognized that the healthcare industry was struggling. And we know that, all you can do is listen to the news about healthcare. We know, but there was no strategy in place locally to address healthcare. And we worked with community members, and we actually developed a healthcare HR strategy for Hastings, Prince Edward, and Lennox, Addington. And we're slowly getting pieces of that done. And so I think it's important that we now look at things like agriculture and forestry and figure out where are they at and what do we need to do to help them.
Wow. Well, that's great insight.
All I have to share with you today.
No, that's perfect, Brad.
Well, I am hoping that we'll hear from members. I will be putting out some consultation pieces through you, Sherry.
Okay,
and
great.
Hopefully we can get some people on. I'm willing to jump on at night because I know for a lot of people they're busy during the day, and I'm not taking a half a day. I'm looking for an hour of people's time eventually to just sort of get a sense of where things are at, and where we can go.
Great. Well, we can certainly do something for you, Brad, to get that rolling with some of the members. We can put out a nice email blast to our members to see if they are interested in spending some time with you and having discussions and going forward. And we can get that out for you for sure. Now, I want to say thank you. It was, you opened up my eyes in regards to a few things. And I would like to say to our audience, please take the time and visit the website and take the survey and let's get the information in so we can all see where we're sitting at. I do think it's very important, especially at this point in time. During Brad's presentation, you had seen on a couple slides where he had 4 points, 4 very important questions, with the last one being the succession plan. Those questions are very important to any business, not just to the agricultural business or the forestry, to any business owner. And that is something we can touch base on in a workshop later on. Myself and Brad, we could probably do a combination that way and get some more information out there to help the business owners to become a little bit more efficient in their operational practices. So Brad, thank you so much for joining us this week on Community Voice. We really appreciate it, and we hope that you'll come back another time. And we will see everyone next week. Okay, so enjoy it and enjoy your day. It's a beautiful sunny day. Thank you, Brad. We really appreciate it. And have a great day, everyone.
Great, thanks. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome, Brad. Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.